Hello, good evening. My name is Josephine Frimpong. Tonight, we'll focus on inclusive development and effective participation of persons with disability in the electoral process. The Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, says there will be strict principles guiding the provision of the country's infrastructure when the 40-year development plan takes off. This is intended to address the needs of persons with disability and other vulnerable groups.
In Ghana, an estimated 2.5 million people live with a disability. The Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, explained Goal 2 of the 40-year development plan addresses some of the peculiar needs of persons living with disability and other vulnerable groups. Dr. Nimoy Thompson insists measures have been instituted to ensure speedy implementation of Goal 2 of the National Development Plan, which addresses the needs of vulnerable groups.
We're going to have principles for the provision of infrastructure in Ghana, which will have to draw on the existing law. Infrastructure must be accessible to persons with disabilities. We see a violation of the law. Now it's going to be made explicit, and the public will be aware. So you enter a building, there should always be a ramp, for example, for wheelchairs, the elevators, and all those things we have to take care of.
Dr. Nimoy Thompson intimated that reforms will be implemented to ensure persons with disabilities are not discriminated against during job recruitment.
For the plan to be successful, we are proposing what we call structural reforms, which involve legislative and legal reforms, policy reforms, and institutional reforms, such that people will be made more aware. You can't turn away someone because of physical disability. You can turn them down if they fail a test, whether they are blind or not.
Lack of accurate data on the number and needs of vulnerable groups affect the formulation of policies to address the needs of vulnerable groups. The Director General added that the Commission is working with the Statistical Service to generate accurate data to aid planning.
Work in trying to get certain things in place, such as the National Identification Card project will have to be revived, and it will be, we have what we call catalytic initiatives. That is going to be one of them. In fact, in the plan, we are going to propose for the first time, it's going to be time bound. It must be completed by 2018. And the public will then have a chance to assess a government. There's going to be a bill which is going through the system now on births and deaths registry, vital statistics. So all those things will come together to form a very solid basis for making social policy.
Public awareness, according to Dr. Nimoy Thompson, is critical to the successful implementation of the plan.
Members of the Ghana Blinds Union and the Ghana Federation of Disability Organization have tasked government to rectify the Marrakesh Treaty before this year's election. They complain delays in the ratification of the agreement is impacting negatively on their bid to read and share texts.
The Marrakesh Treaty is an agreement adopted in Marrakesh, Morocco in 2013 to allow for copyright exclusion to make the accessibility of books and other copyrighted works for visually impaired persons possible. According to the World Bank and World Health Organization, about 15% of the global population constitutes persons with disability. The Ghana Statistical Service also indicates 3% of the country's population represent persons with disability. Despite this significant proportion, the physically challenged persons in the country bewail they do not form part of the productive sector of the country. Presenting a petition to the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oye Litha, on the need to speed up the approval of the Marrakesh Treaty, which will enable them access published works, the union was of the view the process is long overdue.
We all go through the basic level, the secondary level, and as well as the tertiary level. And they expect us to get first class, second upper, and second lower. But the materials are not there for us to read to pass to get that grade. And they refer us when we fail, forgetting that we don't have access to information. Sometimes you want to read, but you have to call a friend to come and read for you.
If Ghana fails to ratify it before the end of this month, We will mobilize all the blind in Ghana. We will do it simultaneously in all the regions to demonstrate our anger and frustration.
Receiving the petition, the minister assured them of government's commitment in addressing their challenges.
We are steadily going through the processes to ensure that we are able to deposit our instrument of ratification before the United Nations.
Still on persons with disability, a member of the Ghana Union of the Blind, Alexander Bankole, has urged the Electoral Commission to make polling stations accessible to persons with disability. He explained this is crucial to effective participation of persons with disability in the electoral process.
The 1992 Constitution states that every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above and of sound mind has the right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a voter. In the lead-up to this year's elections, the Ghana Blind Union says exercising the constitutional right may not become a reality due to inaccessible polling stations. Alexander Bankole, a member of the union, says inaccessible polling stations make it difficult for persons with disability to participate.
The disability movement regrets that from about 2004, there are polling stations that it identified as inaccessible, yet till date are still inaccessible. We entreat the political actors to ensure that our electoral process is peaceful, transparent and fair, because experience has it that whenever there is trouble or war, persons with disability are the worst off.
Charged the Electoral Commission, the Information Services Department and the National Commission for Civic Education to provide adequate information about the electoral process. The Ghana Blind Union wants political parties to ensure
needs of persons with disability.
That's all on Mission this week. Join us next week, Friday, Saturday and Sunday for more exciting stories on Mission.